Ever notice how most history books gloss over the women who actually ran empires? From Egypt to Britain and beyond, fierce female leaders commanded armies, brokered peace, and reshaped the ancient world. Today, we're celebrating 8 of these legends. Women whose stories were buried under male-dominated accounts, but whose legacies roar with power, ambition, and resilience. Hatshepsut of Egypt. Hatshepsut didn't just act as regent for her young stepson. About 7 years in, she declared herself pharaoh, around 1473 BCE. To fit into a male world, she even donned a false beard in statues and took the throne name Makare, meaning truth is the soul of the sun god. Beyond the Nile, she launched grand trading missions to Punt, bringing back incense, gold, and exotic animals. Images of giraffes and monkeys still adorn her temple reliefs. Her building spree included the terraced mortuary temple at Deir el-Bahri, an architectural marvel cut into the cliff face, and twin obelisks at Karnak that towered above any before them. Rather than endless warfare, she funneled resources into restoring old temples, forging economic ties with Nubia, and even commissioning a fleet for Red Sea commerce. After her death, her stepson tried to scrub her from history, but 19th century explorers and the rediscovery of her mummy made clear that Hatshepsut could never stay buried. Cleopatra, the 7th of Egypt. Cleopatra wasn't just a romantic footnote. She was a policy wonk who spoke at least 8 languages, from Egyptian and Greek to Hebrew and Aramaic. When her brother tried to sideline her, she famously rolled herself in a carpet, or bedding, into Julius Caesar's quarters, instantly shifting the political wind to her favor. Fluent in economics, she reformed Egypt's coinage, tying bronze, silver, and gold issues directly to Roman standards, and funneled wealth into Alexandria's docks and granaries. Her later alliance with Mark Antony churned out 3 children and the donations of Alexandria, handing them eastern territories and titles like Queen of Kings. That ultimately spooked Rome. Octavian smashed their fleet at Actium in 31 BCE. Facing parading in chains, she opted for a hairpin's poison over shame, closing out 3,000 years of pharaonic rule with unmistakable drama. Zenobia of Palmyra. When her husband died in 267 CE, Zenobia didn't cling to tradition. She seized power, styled her court on Athens, and minted coins proclaiming herself Septimia Zenobia, Queen of Kings. Within 4 years, she'd overrun Syria, Egypt, and parts of Anatolia with an army that blended Palmyrene cavalry, Arab allies, and archers from former Roman territories. Her Palmyra became a non-stop salon for philosophers, poets, and astronomers. She even corresponded with the Bishop of Antioch about religious tolerance. Emperor Aurelian couldn't let that stand. In 272 CE, he crushed her forces, and when she tried a lightning camel escape across the Euphrates, Roman cavalry caught her. Some say she ended up in chains paraded in Rome. Others whisper she retired in an Italian villa. Either way, she remains a symbol of cultural pride and daring defiance under Rome. Boudica of the Iceni. After Roman tax collectors flogged Queen Boudica and assaulted her daughters around AD 60, she united the Iceni, Trinovantes, and other tribes in a revolt that set Camulodunum, Londinium, and Verulamium ablaze. Archaeology even shows a thick ash layer dating to that rebellion under modern London streets. She led her chariot-borne charge in war paint, twin torches in hand, shaming rival chieftains into following her banner. Tacitus says her fury killed some 80,000 Romans and allies before Governor Suetonius Paulinus ambushed her at Watling Street. Facing defeat, Boudicca chose poison over capture, becoming Britain's OG freedom fighter. Centuries later, suffragettes and nationalists rallied around her memory, and a Victorian statue by Westminster Bridge still pays homage to her indomitable spirit. Tomyris of the Massagetæ, Queen Tomyris, ruled the nomadic Massagetæ north of Persia with a mix of tribal council consensus and battlefield ferocity. When Cyrus the Great tried to woo her by marriage and then lured her son Spargapises into getting plastered on wine, Tomyris saw red. In 530 BCE, she ambushed his army near the Araxes River, annihilating them in what Herodotus calls the fiercest battle between non-Greeks. True to her vow, she had Cyrus's body fished out and dunked his severed head in a wineskin of blood, reportedly declaring, "Drink your fill." Her revenge lit up Renaissance canvases by Rubens and inspired medieval power of women tales. Today, Kazakhstan mints coins in her honor, and her story still stands for unflinching courage and steppe independence. Artemisia I of Caria. In 480 BCE, Artemisia commanded 5 of Persia's best triremes and earned Xerxes' spon's respect as the only female admiral in his armada. She warned him against a naval showdown in the narrow straits of Salamis, but he ignored her counsel. When Athenian ships cornered her flagship, she rammed an allied vessel to confuse the Greeks, who broke off pursuit. That daring ruse let her escape intact, and Xerxes allegedly quipped, "My men have become women, and my women men." Beyond her naval genius, she ran the cities of Halicarnassus, Kos, Nisyros, and Kalindos, issuing coinage stamped with her helmeted portrait, proof that she wielded both military and civic authority in a male-dominated world. Pharaoh of the Shang dynasty. Around 1200 BCE, Pharaoh was a rare Shang dynasty mix of high priestess and field general, leading up to 13,000 troops against tribes like the Tufang, Yi, Qiang, and Ba. Her campaigns included what's likely China's first big ambush, with oracle bone inscriptions praising her divine guidance. Her 1976 tomb discovery at Yinshu was untouched for over 3,000 years, packed with 468 bronzes, including bells and weapons, 755 jade pieces, 564 bone tools, and 6,900 cowrie shells. Even human and dog sacrifices lay nearby, underscoring her roles in ritual and war. Pharaoh's life shows women in ancient China could fuse spiritual authority with military command and get that honored in death. Olympias of Epirus. Olympias wasn't content being Alexander the Great's mother. She stoked his claim to divine parentage by spreading rumors Zeus was his real father. And she may have had a hand in Philip II's assassination to clear his path. As regent for her grandson after Alexander's death, she negotiated alliances, issued decrees, and even mustered troops. When Cassander's generals finally trapped her at Pydna in 316 BCE, they promised her safety, then executed her anyway. Yet her political savvy, religious patronage of Dionysian cults, and ruthless protection of her lineage left an indelible mark on Macedonian politics in the brutal successor wars. From Egypt's monuments to Britain's battlefields and the Central Asian steppes, these 8 women reshaped their worlds, proving leadership isn't bound by gender or convention. Their mix of diplomacy, military genius, and cultural vision still resonates today. reminding us that history's richest stories often come from those whose voices nearly went unheard.